it's still testnet.
Work with other people to make a viable solution. And I think I'm going to pass it to RJ.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Satya in that, like, sure, $80 isn't that much for a campaign. But where I have a bigger concern is that's what it is today. What is it going to be in 3 months? And we don't know. And so I think looking at these scalability challenges are super important. I don't see any like sharding or any like Ethereum scaling happening for at least a year, but probably longer than that for any like major scaling to happen. So we're going to need to find some solution in the midterm. I don't think we should deploy some campaigns on mainnet just to say we did that. Like, I think that's just a waste of money, because as soon as we start using the contracts in testnet and using it for ourselves, it's very possible we'll find something that needs to change. Then we have to redeploy the campaigns anyways. I like the idea of using it. Like, there's a benefit of deploying to testnet is I think the system will get more use, thus more testing and kind of working out the kinks. Disadvantage is like you don't have the bug bounties and stuff on the contracts because there's no real ether involved. But I think that would be my suggestion, is going with what Griff said, deploying on testnet, using that as our accounting system and making just mainnet payments. And you can even link the transaction hash in the milestone or whatever on testnet, so it's all transparent where everything's coming from and who it's going to. Yeah, and then start researching and possibly collaborating with others on scalability solutions.
RJ, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How much of what I can't remember, I think Votek who brought this up. What do you think the cost of development time to add a token, to make token, instead make liquid pledging work on a token as opposed to ether? What do you think that would entail, or how much time would that be?
I don't think that'd be very much time, I think, but I mean, I guess it's like, so we were talking about deploying on testnet and then creating a token that's kind of pegged to mainnet. I'm not really, the more I think about that, the less I like that idea, due to 51% attacks and things like that. But as far as just modifying liquid pledging to accept a token, it seems like less than a week to get that working. Probably just a day or two.
When you say 51% attacks, can you go further on that?
Well, like, Augur can spin up some nodes and basically kind of mine every other block, or like mine more than 50% of the blocks on Ropsten, right? So that's vulnerable for, oh, now we're pegging it to something that has real value with a relay or something. I mean, it's all, we need to research what we're gonna, like, how this would work, but, or think about it some more. But if we were using a relay that pegs the testnet to real value on mainnet, then it seems to me like that's a potential for attack there pretty easily. Who hasn't gone? Jen, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I do. So I think it is an issue that it takes so long to pay people. I feel by the feedback I get that it makes us as Givit a little less, I don't want to say trustworthy or trustable, but or maybe that's it. So Chris said we have to do what we preach, or we preach what we do, something like this. So when people wait a certain amount of time for their payment, it just doesn't look really good. And it's not that we have to look good, but we're on a long term, I think we will lose people if they don't really trust the system. And that is an issue for me. Or like, not an issue for me, but I think that will be an issue for us. So if it's easier and better to pay people a different way than we should do. I don't have a tech mind, so I can't say anything about mainnet and testnet, as you know. But yeah, I think that is an issue. We have to hold the people we have, I think. Did Edu go?
Okay, yeah. For me, in this situation, the best option seems to deploy into the mainnets. For me, it's the best option right now because the price is crazy. So this is for me the best option.
Sorry,
you said deploy to what?
Deploy on testnet. Deploy well the testnet option.
Gotcha.
Sorry, can I add a point?
Yeah.
I agree with Wojtek and some other people. I think $80 for a milestone is absolutely too much. I understand Satya's point that, of course, we can probably afford it, but I think we should not have to. And RJ is right that we, of course, don't know where the whole thing is going in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, and no one knows. But I think $80 is a lot of money per milestone. So that's definitely something we should consider when it comes to budget and stuff. Thanks. That's it.
Okay. Edu, did you have any more?
No, not really. It's my option.
Okay, and I think you
This is Oz.
Yeah, Oz.
I think I might be the last person, which is why I spoke up. And I don't really have a lot to add in terms of what we should do between the options. It is an awesome strategy question, though. And I think, Griff, you're the strategy lead, and you're kind of like the best person to, I don't know, I feel like we're in a good place to navigate these new waters. But I will say that it's not that uncommon at all this happens in technology companies all the time. The ground moves from underneath you constantly in the tech world. And you kind of have two very main viable like money or like business options. Not that we're a money or business thing, but essentially you either have like a product and you sell that product, and then you have to deal with updating that product, throughout all that change and supporting that product. Or you go more of a consultancy where you don't have that risk of exactly what the technology is, because you're just helping people get on it and helping them do what they got to do on whatever the technology stack is. And I don't know, I feel like we're kind of in between that, because I see us more on research, we're an experiment. And so it's naive. It was essentially, I think all you can do is kind of go for quick, small wins, do what you can to understand that we're in a very changing ecosystem, maybe in the most changing ecosystem in technology for a while. And yeah, that's all I have to add. And I think I was last.
Okay, so then I guess it's my turn to amend and clarify. There were a couple of good questions that I want to talk about. Maintaining our beta on mainnet, I think that it should be there, and I am totally cool if you want to deploy your like just me personally. I will help out on the gas payments if you really want to deploy your stuff on mainnet. I am happy to do that. I do think that it's a waste of time, but I really want everyone to have the experience if they feel like, because I do believe that's valuable. And I will continue to work on that with people if they want. However, especially in the meantime, I liked what Chris had to say about not making payments through that, because like Jen was talking about, we haven't paid people in months, and it stresses me out. I almost just want to pay everyone money in advance and like deduct it later, because this is just too much. I don't like having debt, and Giveth is not someone you can sue. So, like it's just not cool to have debts like this. So we'll talk about the potential, my proposal and for that after this. As far as will there be scalability issues on the testnet, that is potential. There is potential for that, and that's why the testnet to me is a stopgap solution in the next 3 months. we can deploy on testnet and have everything working with a block explorer, and pretty much everything will be able to be the same. We can actually run our governance. We can use MetaMask. We can use all these. We can integrate MetaMask, and we can continue with the public testnet. I feel like we can continue our processes and learning like how to be a DAC, and the model DAC can continue, as well as developing our DApp that can also continue. Whereas on a private chain, you can connect MetaMask to the private chain. It's a little harder, but you can also connect my Ether wallet. Like we can do a lot of these things and we can set it up, but maintaining that chain and building all the infrastructure around it has such a big cost that the testnet is just a much easier solution. And then if we do run into scaling issues, which I don't think we will, we can work on that. I mean, the other thing with the testnet is it's proof of authority. I think Kovan has 4-second block times, and there's a lot of other interesting things. So we'll have to do a lot of research on that. Potential for attack. As far as on the testnet, the potential for a 51% attack goes down a lot if we're off of Ropsten and on Rinkeby and Kovan or Kovan. The nice thing is that we can create our own token and create a stopgap solution between connecting the chains. So there are projects that want to connect the chains in an automated way, but just like we had with the vault, where basically every payment had to wait for me to say yes. Like that's our current setup on the vault. We can create something similar in the case that there's issues on the tokens being attacked. Let's see. The biggest problem I have with this strategy is that, and it was briefly mentioned, is linking donations. It's a lot harder for us to automate the donation system, and I think that I would hope that we can appoint someone just to figure that problem out, because I really, really want to see people be able to donate to Giveth and delegate their funds using our system. And I don't know how to bridge that in an effective way where someone could donate, $100 to Giveth, and it would be worth our time to create a pledge on testnet. So to me, that's the big question. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so amend and clarify. From your feedback, at least, I think that we'll, in no official way, start developing a couple things. Each circle needs to figure out exactly the solutions for themselves. I would like to push that we basically pause development on mainnet, at least pause development of producing milestones and these things, because it just has a cost, and we'll have to redeploy them on mainnet or on testnet, which will become our mainnet effectively, and that we research the second path. So it's really not much of a different than my initial proposal. We pause mainnet, we restart up our alpha.giveth.io. We leave mainnet there so that maybe if the stars align and if Ether's price stops and all this craziness stops, we can actually go back to mainnet. It's paused, it's not ended. We go back to testnet, and we try to develop a coalition for a potential private proof of authority network with friends. And then the next one, I'll talk about payments. Any objections?
Yes. I still don't understand. we have the deck deployed. We have one campaign deployed, so we need to deploy 2 more campaigns. That will be about 160 euros. If you want, I can pay that 160 euros. It's no problem, really. Then, okay, we have the problem of the milestones, and we're proposing a lot of milestones. So maybe we should group those milestones. Just say, okay, once we take all the work together from all the transparent sheets and video walls that we have, and we make once a month we do milestones, which is like, at least in Europe, a common thing. You pay out once a month, but you make sure that you pay out. Which probably, how many people are there? Like 15, 20, which will be like 20 milestones. So 20 times 25 euros. It's nothing really. So I don't see the problem really. And then for the donations side, we could, now we also say send us donations on revolution.eth, which is basically just an address, right? Or is it even a multi-sig? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a contract that catches tokens and then sends Ether to the multi-sig.
Yeah, so, okay, we can catch all the donations in something like that, or make one for each campaign. So we can also solve that problem. And then I still don't see the problem, really. But that's maybe me.
But then what's the point of using liquid pledging? Because that's basically the whole thing of liquid pledging is the delegates and having control of your money and stuff. But if you're just catching donations, like, why not? Why would anybody else use our platform? Why wouldn't they just put their own address?
I have a comment on Satya's comment as well.
Oh, wait, hold on. I wasn't.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The other thing is, it works fine to pay people once a month if they're just going to keep it in Ether. But if people are planning on cashing it out, it doesn't work because it's so volatile. That's all. Chris.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to say, like, the idea anyways was to not open up our platform until beginning of March. So also for the use of the liquid pledging, it would have only been us for now. So donations would and will still be coming in through our revolution.eth or the other options that are on donate.givit.io. We're in the process of updating that page. So that's where the things come in. We want also from communication standpoint, we want to build up to something. So we're not just going to give everyone full, even if it's just viewing access. That was currently, as far as I know, not the plan. So only people who we give the tour can see the dApp anyways, whether it's on mainnet or on testnet. So that was the idea right now. So in that logic, I think there's no reason to be live on mainnet. So I follow Griff entirely in that point. But the fact of actually testing the liquid pledging and all of the functionalities of the platform works best with separate milestones and not grouping things and so on, but really using it the way we wanted to use it. So I would go with the suggestion that Griff made here, that we do it on testnet and we do it separately so that we have complete transparency as we were planning to do so. And in the meantime, we search for a solution. So I have no objection. So it was an objection to the objection.
Satya, how do you respond?
Yeah, okay.
Satya, I think I have a solution for you as well.
Okay.
And that is, we can just set up an address, like a simple contract for each campaign that we would advertise. And then whenever someone sends Ether to that, on the test network, we could issue some tokens in the same amount, and that could be sent to their address, to the same address on the test network. And now from this point, that the user can use this test token on the test network to actually really donate and manipulate with the money. And we basically test how the platform works.
We can add this to the donate page, so that's perfect. Sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a great solution, because in the end, I want people to be able to donate to which campaign they want, and that's a big problem I have with this testnet solution. So having it opened up so that each campaign can raise funds through a mainnet contract that we deploy. That's much more doable, and then they can do that. They can actually interact with the organizations through liquid pledging, because we can take the data and run some kind of scripts. I mean, I believe that we can do a lot of links between mainnet and testnet, and this is really valuable research, honestly, and skills that we can develop for the ecosystem and for ourselves. So I think that there's a big win on the linking of chains, at least for personal development and ecosystems development, without much cost. Yeah, so I guess I'll amend my proposal to say that we will also investigate the solution that Wojtek put in to actually have separate donation buckets for each campaign, but not milestones. And each campaign, when they're donated to, it would be really amazing if we could create a notification that would send them an email so they could connect to the leader of each campaign, or whoever is assigned to be the community manager for each campaign. And they will, they can, if they say, hey, I want my money to go to the specific milestone. Or actually, I guess it already is in the pledge, right? The pledge will be created and they can go to the testnet and they can, yeah, it would work as normal. So never mind. I went on a tangent there.
The only difference would be is they don't donate using the donate button on the DApp. You just donate to the address and then you interact with it on the DApp.
Yeah. I mean, we can make a donate button. It just won't go to our testnet DApp.
Exactly.
And it goes to milestones, and we still maintain our accounting on testnet.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Okay. Well, so objection integrated. Any other objections?
Well, maybe it's a clarification, but I just want to be clear, get clarity on this point. I'm completely for creating different buckets, and that we have donate buttons on the donate page for the different circles. That makes complete sense to me. Also, that you send a mail to those people like, hey, this is how you can reach us if you want to see if you want to pledge it to something specific. But honestly, I wouldn't give any further visibility or access to the DApp, even if it's on testnet. And because we haven't launched yet, we're not, and that's the thing I wanted to get clarity on, if that's also how you see it.
I would agree with that. I would say that testnet for us is not, I mean, of course our goal is to get it so people will use it, but at the same time, it's closed. It's for us to play with and start donating and do tests with, but like, it doesn't work to the quality where I would want to show it off yet.
Okay. No objection then.
But in the end, that's also, I think all the leads kind of got to talk about that. So,
yeah.
And Satya have a lot of input there. So when everyone says it's good, then we push. Okay. So to recap, the proposal is leave the mainnet where it is. I will support you if you really want to play with it. I will support you. But for the most part, it's not on the Giveth agenda. We leave the mainnet where it is. We start redeploying on testnet, and hoping RJ can pick his favorite testnet. And I'm going to do a lot of research this weekend and talk to a lot of people about this to pick a testnet and get that out going as fast as possible. We try to build a coalition to look at a private chain. And we also create separate donation buckets for each circle. Okay. So, any objections? Proposal passed.
Yay!
Next proposal.
With tears in my eyes.
I'm so sorry.
The drama.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we have an equally fun discussion for round 2. So, the tension is basically what Jen said. People aren't getting paid. this sucks. I'm supposed to get paid. I mean, it's nice that Ether is exploding. Giveth is like the hodl station, you know, like you get paid by Giveth, you never get the money, and then it gets value. Like it's a pretty cool thing, right? But at the same time, it's probably not the best way to run an organization. So I have been kind of a dog fooding maximalist and have pushed really hard for this, but I think it's time. I would propose that we break our dog fooding and we start doing manual payments to an extent. And because the mainnet is so bad, using the multi-sig itself is expensive. Okay, we did it the other day, and every transaction costs $4 or something, right? So what I would suggest is that we do regular payments, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. I would prefer every 2 weeks or less. I would prefer every 1 week, but coordinating that on Friday, every Friday, is a little annoying. And that what we do is we make one transaction to a contract that has that we can send in data that will say where to send it to. And so we make one multi-sig transaction for, let's say, 50 Ether, and then it sends, 5 Ether to RJ, 5 Ether to Sacha, 5 Ether to Wojtek, 2 Ether here, 5 Ether there, and it just kind of has all that done. And we basically build that in a transparent spreadsheet where we do all of our counting. I would like to try to move to Sandstorm instead of Google Docs, but that's a bigger fight. We'll start. I just want to add that into the discussion, and then. But we basically do all of our accounting on an open Google Doc that we post all over the Slack, so people can see where the money's going, and and we appoint basically we build an accounting team, like a circle. We create a circle for that, and that's the other part that we need to figure out is for those 4 points we need people to lead those as well. So I'll revise the notes on the previous one and find people to lead these issues, and on this one as well. We basically create a budget circle. We use our multi-sig to make payments, and we do that on a regular basis without really smart contracts. Clarifying questions?
Yes. So if I understand correctly, every 2 weeks we deploy a multi-sig with all the addresses, like 2 Ether goes here, 2 Ether goes there.
No. Well, maybe. It's not a multi-sig, it's just this contract. And
okay, contract.
I'm not sure. It should be a very simple, small contract with data, and it'd be much smaller, much less, much easier to do that than make a send, make multiple sends to each person.
Yeah.
But then there's still this issue of do we deploy it, or is it a contract we often send to along with the actual data of the send? There's 2 ways to do it, and I'm not sure which way is the best. We'll talk to RJ and Jordy and the White Hat group about that.
Can I? And one more question. So to make it sounds like a good idea, but that's a reaction. But to make up for our loss of milestones, can we? Because I saw a presentation of this other startup that was doing contracts on the blockchain. I don't know. I don't think they use Ethereum for it, but they, in the contracts, they put like a hash of the real contract, like, that we somehow connect. Because now it's like, okay, look in the Google spreadsheet, but I think it would be nice if you can read from the blockchain, where these amounts of 5 Ether and 2 Ether and 1 Ether, where they're coming from. Like you link to some hash on IPFS or something. Something like that, because we don't have milestones anymore, right?
I am hoping to go the other way around, where we link to the transaction in our dApp, and we will still have milestones. They just won't be on mainnet. They'll be on testnet.
Okay.
So we can actually like link to the, we can like, I think someone, I can't remember who suggested it, but they said, yeah, we could actually edit the milestone on testnet and say paid and add the link and to the transaction that pays it.
Okay.
That's a great question, though. Any other clarifying questions?
Will that having the milestone on testnet and then the transaction on mainnet, will that include the spreadsheet, and then spreadsheet include all that same information?
I would think that the spreadsheet will work collaborative. I mean, this is up for the budget circle to figure out these exact details, but I would think that the spreadsheet will end up working together with the milestones, and it'll just be like, it's kind of like a second check, like, you know, second accounting. So the main accounting, the most important accounting and the initiation of accounting happens on the actual DApp. And then you have a spreadsheet that is taking information off the DApp. And maybe even we could somehow, I mean, the magic of all this Ethereum stuff is maybe it could even, that spreadsheet could even be filled from the DApp one day. I don't know if that's possible. And then that spreadsheet generates the data that we need to make the payments. And then every week we have a multi-sig meeting and we get everyone to click yes on the payments. So it would probably be part of our weekly governance meeting. There would just be okay, guess what we're going to do? This is the bill, or this is the bill for the week, so let's pay. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that answered my question.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions? Okay, reaction round. Ooh, Adria joined. Well, he just got here, so let's go with you, Alex. You got reactions?
I think that sounds really good, and it's a good alternative to deploying expensive milestones to mainnet and costing unnecessary money. Because I think that we should try and be smart about this and not just throw money at it because we have it.
If you're done, you
yeah, sorry, and I'll choose Wojtek.
So I'm very happy with this solution. I think Griff also knows why, because we talked a little bit in private. And yeah, I'm just saying maybe it's almost too late. So I'm very happy that we're doing this, and I would be happy if it happened a month ago. But great stuff. Oz?
Yeah, I think it's a cool solution. I think it also kind of goes in line with what Griff was saying about research. You know, it's like Giveth is trying to pioneer solutions for ourselves. And so in a way, I do kind of see it even as like a dog fooding, because we're learning how to dog food the Ethereum network kind of in a different way. And hopefully we can pass that lesson on, you know, if it works out, to other people trying to do similar things. And I'll pass it on to Kai.
Kai is muted, no?
Oh, sorry.
I was talking, but
sorry, Kai.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm the last person I'm supposed to do that to. You just have such a beautiful icon.
That's why I'm toggled off. I have some people over. I listen, but I go along. I feel such a. I want to say now that I have the word with tears in my eyes from the thing before. I will pass it along to Jen. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's a great solution. I don't actually think it's a big problem to organize and manage payments weekly or every second week. We just have to agree on one way to do it. And if we have any kind of frame, then I don't really think it's a problem at all. We just need to agree on a system. So yeah, I like the idea, of course. Chris.
Yeah, so for me, it's also perfect. and I can use the money because I just got a mail that Wirex and all the other debit cards got cut off by Visa. So all of them. So I have literally no more money right now. So that's a good thing that we'll have some Ether at least. But getting back to the point, yes, and it can be weekly, it can be bi-weekly. Apart from that, I really don't think we need a new circle. For me, this is perfect for the governance circle. This is the topic for the governance tactical meeting for next week. And then when it comes to organizing this, I would say, as we just in the previous point said, that we're going to start using everything on testnet, and Griff confirmed this as well, is that I would say let's stick actually with the current system, only you don't put your stuff in the regular reward form and the expenses form anymore. You put it in a milestone, and then indeed you put then the transaction when it's paid. And so whoever does this administration that is still there, Jen or who else wants to do this, just picks it out there, puts it in the existing Google Sheet and says, okay, this is a total amount for this person, for that person, and so on. And yep, we put it in a multi-sig. So that's second point. It's a long explained story again. The third element that I would say is like, we can do it with the smart contract solution where you bundle it all together, Griff, as you say. But if you want to keep full transparency, you could also say we do just one transaction per person. That's still like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 transactions per 2 weeks. And it saves you the time of creating another smart contract and figuring all of that out. And it enhances transparency because you see where the money flows and you can just put per person that link in there. But that's just my suggestion. That last point is the least important to me. And that's it. And I give it to, is there still someone left?
RJ. I'm gone.
Edu, I think, yeah, or RJ.
RJ. Yeah. Regarding the last point Chris said, it's actually 8 times 5 because it's a 5 of 10 or times 6, whatever, 6 of 10 multi-sig. So it's a lot of transactions. Second, I think we should use the milestones, and it'd be super simple to just automate a script to like do this, I think, every week, as long as everybody has their milestones up there. And I'm not sure what the Google Sheet was for. I guess I kind of forgot that. But that was my only reaction was we should just automate this. So it's just you run a little script and it does what it needs to do. I think anybody else left?
Edu?
I think he left.
Oh,
Adria. I saw Adria was here. Did he leave?
I didn't go.
Satya.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. I would really like to have this. Yeah, if we can make this connection between the evidence and put the evidence on the chain, then I'm very happy with it. And it sounds like a good solution. But I think this is something that I'm telling all the time. Like you can see on chain what is actually being paid, and there's like it links or whatever in the transaction or whatever. If we can accomplish that with somehow, then I'm really cool with this solution. Yeah, that's it. Have anybody left now?
Is there an Edu or an Adria here?
Adria is here. I'm not sure if he followed.
He's muted, so. Okay. Well, no. Okay, so what I would say is the Google Doc was merely a temporary solution until we can automate it. But like, you know, I'm not the dev, so if you think it's easy to write a script that can say, hey, when this gets paid on the testnet, it goes into this, you know, I would just put it in a spreadsheet, but I guess it's a script that humans need to double check, right? Like we need to actually double check, and there needs to be at least 3 people in charge of double checking this, because I just don't trust scripts when it comes with Ether payments. But as long as there's someone who's in charge of double checking, and it's not me, because honestly, I don't have the time for that. I don't want to do it. I mean, I want to double check the double checker. I want to spot check, you know? So as long as we have somebody who's going to take this as their lead job to make sure that the script is working as it's supposed to, then I'm totally down. To me, the Google spreadsheet kind of brings that extra layer of transparency that is like, this is the payment that you're going to make, multi-sig person. Do you agree with these lines? Like here you go, Chris. This is the payment. And if it's in a spreadsheet, you can be like, oh yeah, that much to this person, that much to this person. Done. Versus if it's in a script, like it prints out, it could print out in a spreadsheet and then we can hand it to them. I don't know. These are the details that we need to like look at. So anyway, it seemed like there was broad approval of this. So I will, and I like the Chris's point on, it doesn't have to be like a brand new circle. It can just be like underneath the governance circle, like basically an admin circle. So my new proposal is to create an admin circle and start working on these solutions, especially for getting payments. And I really want to get everyone paid before next week, before I get to Thailand. That's my goal. We'll see. Probably finish it off on the plane.
Yeah, clarifying question on this. So we just started entering or proposing all the milestones of all our depth in the beta. So what are we going to do with? Is that going into the new system now?
Good point.
Yeah. Well, here I'll set up the testnet today or right after this meeting, and then I could just copy over everything, I think, and just do a few manual edits of addresses. I think would work fine.
You actually think that you can get that done today?
Yeah, the testnets. I just set up a different testnet in the last half hour before this meeting, so it'd be pretty simple.
Which testnet do we want to use?
Well, we have a Rinkeby node that's working, so I would just use that.
Okay. Oh shit! Oh yeah, you restarted it because I was taking screenshots. I'm gonna create the new one then. Okay.
I got rid of alpha.giveit.io right before this, but I'll bring it back.
See. Okay. Good.
Okay.
But okay, clarifying question. So then we move everything to alpha again. That's on Rinkeby, and then some of the we still need to enter a lot of reward DAO and expenses. We're gonna propose them as milestones, I guess. And then what is our target for getting, because that's actually the whole point here, is like, how do we pay out these debts as ASAP?
What I will say is that we will, okay, my proposal is that next Friday and every Friday after this, until we have caught up with our debt, past debt, we make a payment from the multi-sig. And that could change if we decide that we want to do payments every 2 weeks. But until then, we get milestones up on our testnet. We make payments from the multi-sig on Friday. And so whatever is up there on the testnet migration campaign will get paid out if it has passed like it's supposed to pass, you know. The issue I see, I guess I don't see the big issue, because we can basically send infinite ether to delegates, and delegates can donate ether to fill these migration campaigns. So I would see it as something like we sent. See, that's the thing. I think we need to create a token, RJ, so that people can't just donate ether to our contracts and then like change the accounting on us.
Oh, I didn't follow that.
So like right now, if we deploy on testnet and it's using ether, anyone can send ether and donate it to the campaign or something, and it messes
testnet ether and screw up. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And that's why it needs to be using a token.
Right. Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Then we just mint the token as we get real Ether.
I mean, honestly, it sucks, guys. I really just like paying people under the table, and then you pay me back when you actually get paid from my DApp. I mean, it's stupid, but that's what I would prefer.
Griff, why does it get screwed up with using the testnet with the fake Ether? I'm not following that one.
So if we deploy our contracts as they are now, they use Ether. But on the testnet, I have 50,000 Ether.
Yeah.
And so I can donate, like, if we want, we can set our accounting the way our budget proposal before said, where the DApp team gets this much, this team gets that much, each team gets a certain amount. But then, since I have 50,000, testnet Ether, I can give that all to the governance campaign, and then I can say, hey, look, I have this much Ether, so I should get it.
Yeah, but you're not gonna do that, right? So if we just
but anybody could do it.
Anyone.
It's not just Griff. It's anybody. It has to be a token. So
yeah, but we're not gonna open it up to other people. So we're not gonna let people.
The testnet is public. Anyone can.
You can't really block it. I mean, if somebody finds it, they can use it.
So,
Okay.
we have to make it with a token.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll do that this afternoon instead of deploying it. We'll see how far we get.
Okay. I'll try to get Jordy to help you out too, because I know he already started it.
Right. Well, if it's only one token, I think it'll actually be pretty straightforward. If we're not accepting like any token, if it's just one, I don't think it'll be any problem.
It's just one. Okay, so the proposal is that every Friday we do it. And if you guys want to get some Ether, I have a spreadsheet of people who own Ether that when the give gets paid out, I will pay them. And I don't want to be impeding your guys' lives, but I also want to make sure that we can do it right. And yes, it's slow and annoying, but I think, RJ, if you had to guess, how long do you think this will take?
My goal is to have it done by tomorrow.
And then deployed?
Yeah, like done being the stuff we could start putting up the rest of the milestones. I'll copy over the milestones from mainnet.
Okay. I'm going to get Jordy on you and Jordy on a phone call after this, okay?
Yeah, we should talk for sure.
Okay. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be another week and a half before we can just to guarantee that this all gets done and we can start making payouts. But every Friday, we try to do a multi-sig transaction that pays people based off milestones that are passed on our testnet DApp. That's the proposal. Any objections? Proposal passed. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. We have one more, though. Chris, what was your...
It has been covered, so proposal passed.
Okay, so let's check out. Thank you, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. This is a tough meeting. Tears in my eyes, too. I really don't like that we're doing this, honestly. It's a practicality. It's an engineering kind of thing where, like, in theory, we should be able to push forward and do it. But when I do all the math, I think we're headed in the right direction, and I think we'll be stronger for this. So, but tears in the eyes for sure. Thank you guys for making it easy. Let's go with Wojtek.
Well, thank you. This was a very interesting meeting. I believe Satya wanted to also propose something, but I guess maybe we can do it in the next meeting. I don't know.
Well, Satya, did you have something to propose?
Yeah, I thought this would be a long meeting, so I will keep it for the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. So I choose Satya now.
Okay, so yeah, it was an interesting meeting. It's a little bit sad, but on the other hand, I don't think, as long as we show off the world how you can be a transparent charity on blockchain, whatever that blockchain is, then I think we can make change. So if we can achieve that on testnet and with tokens and other ways of doing it, then I think it's going to be fine. So Jen, and see you guys next week. Jen.
Yeah, that was a great meeting. Thanks. A lot of good changes, I think. So yeah, that was great. Chris.
Yeah, I think it was a good meeting, a great meeting even. We didn't get stuck at all, so that's great. And I would just say, like, I hope next meeting to see you guys again, because I have currently like a bad hair day, but you're all anonymous. So like bring yourself back for the next video. I only see Griff, that's all. So hey, there they are. And see you next week. And I pass it on to Wojtek, who's also, and Jen, Wojtek.
I already went, so Jen.
I said something already as well.
Hi.
Hi. Or Alex.
Thanks for the meeting.
All right,
guys. Nice. Very cool. Such a.
They all went already. Do you not listen to them?
Okay.
Alex.
Okay, it was great. I think that we got through some stuff that was giving us issues, but even though we're switching to testnet, we're still using the technology that we built. So I don't really see it as a loss. I see it as just a way to still be transparent, but not spend stupid amounts of money to do so, because we don't have to. And I think that it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be interesting to see how the networks cause other dApps to react as well, because they're probably going to have to do something similar, or we'll probably see what we're doing and go, oh, that's a great idea. Now we don't have to spend a lot of money doing stuff that we can still technically do now for free, instead of paying hundreds of dollars to do something. All right, that's it for me, and go to Oz.
Hey guys, yeah, it's good to see your faces, good to see your emojis. This is a really cool subject that we tackled, and I still have a lot of things to think about from all the great things you guys contributed to it. So I will see you guys next week. If I'm last, I guess Audrey, are you here?
We still have RJ.
Oh, sorry, RJ.
Yeah, it was actually, I think, one of my favorite meetings. It was very productive, and I appreciate how everybody kind of had feedback, and it was all kind of incorporated, and I'm happy with the plan that we came up with. Yeah, so good meeting. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Governance meetings are great. They only get better, it seems. Thanks for participating, guys. And and if you want to stay on, I gotta go grab Jordy. But we're, just mute yourself, and you can listen to Jordy and RJ talk about nerdy stuff. So it'll be a couple of minutes though, and I hope to keep the live stream going, because why not?
Okay, see you guys next week.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Jordy just hopped on the phone, so just
Okay.
wait.
Maybe we can just, the payments thing the contract that you were thinking about.
Okay.
Can you just elaborate a little more, or what you're thinking, or your thoughts were?
Oh, well, there's two ways to go, right? I mean, obviously one multi-sig transaction there's no reason to do anything more than one multi-sig transaction for the total amount. And then there's two ways to go. We deploy a contract and it sits there forever, and that contract takes in parameters that are like, an array of people to pay and an array of payments to make. Or we deploy a new contract with construction parameters of basically the same thing.
Every week. Okay, I see.
And I don't know which one is the right strategy gas-wise. I'm not really
right.
sure. I think deploying, honestly, probably be cheaper. Or maybe it's the same. I don't know.
I would think deploying would be more expensive, but
yeah?
I don't know. But they're both super simple. It's easy to write to and see which is cheaper and figure from there.
I mean, I'll tell you the nicer one, the one that I'd want is one contract that sits there the whole time and takes in these parameters. That is preferred because then we can have a clear accounting. And it's like, here's the payment. It always
right.
address.
So our multi-sig transaction, all the data in there includes address and amount for everybody. Oh, that's pretty simple. And then we could just do like what we do in liquid pledging and do some bit shifting and an array. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Something crazy like that.
I think the one time that should be pretty simple.
Okay. So yeah, that's the big for payments. And then now we got to talk about adding a token into liquid pledging. Jordy is like, I know. Let's add 777. Let's add token fallbacks.
With token fallbacks, it should be very straightforward because it's just just change the donation, and the donation will just receive the tokens, and it would be hey.
It's okay. He can hear you.
Okay, so that would be quite easy with the ERC20. Well, you have to do the approval and then call the donation. And the donation just do the transfer from in that part. And the logic can be more or less the same because once the money is inside, it should be quite easy. So I think that the modifications that you should do in the liquid pledging just to work with the standard token, it should not be very big.
You already had some of them done, right?
I did that in the vault, but not in the liquid pledging.
Oh, so just the liquid pledging vault?
No, in the non-regular vault.
That's
not, there are very few. The problem is it's only the deposits and the withdrawals. So deposits is a donation.
Right.
You need to handle the deposit just to send the token to the vault, then the donation.
Yeah, there's only two methods that would be affected out of all liquid pledging.
Which is pretty magical, I have to say.
Yeah. So, I don't think it'll be a big deal to do it at all.
The only thing is that the vault will have to approve the liquid pledging contract full approval.
So you do that once and then it works?
Yeah, in the constructor, you can just do the approval, and it work. Then just do the transfers in the donation, the exit, the other transfer. It change a couple of places in the contracts.
Right.
So if you do the PFP pull request, I will check it.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Because I'm here to bug Jordy for a couple days. Is there anything else that you would especially want him to look at for contracts?
Not really. Especially now that we're going on testnet too, it's not as big of a concern. And since we already deployed it on mainnet, I feel like ship has sailed.
Apparently, so the final decision is that we're going to deploy on test. It's not final decision, but our current strategy is that we're going to deploy on testnet and do everything like we were planning, but on testnet, just like it's mainnet. So we're always managing everything on testnet. And then we basically write a script that will take the milestones that pass and generate data so that we know who to send to pay payments. And then we make every Friday we make a milestone payment to from our multi-sig. And So this is the other question I have is whether or not we should make one contract that always receives the payment receives the payment script output as a parameter, like an array of senders and array of amounts as a parameter, and then that contract makes all the sense.
Yep.
Or if we deploy a new contract every time.
You can. Nice thing to do is you can deploy. Have a contract which have just a constructor, and even the constructor you just start destroying. And in the constructor, you just make the payments as a parameter, and as a parameter of the constructor, you just pass the list of the payments you want to do.
Is that
so it just pays when it deploys?
what?
Just you deploy it and pay all in one go.
Yeah, deploy, pay, and deploy, pay, suicide.
Right.
Is that better than just having a contract that always sits there and you have parameters and it makes this multi-sense?
I think so, because the constructor is not actually in the contract, so what you are doing mainly is in the sense. So it should be very, very, very optimal.
Like very cheap?
Yeah, much more cheaper than just doing 20 transactions.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Well, what about just doing like you have a contract that sits there and then there's a method like pay that accepts an array of address and amounts?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and you just
that could work. That may work too. Yeah.
The nice thing about that is, to me, it's just a little bit lower risk because of the side story.
Yeah.
And then
that may work too.
And then it actually creates a really clean accounting.
Yeah, that may work too. Yeah, that may work too.
Okay. Okay. Well, what else you two superstars going to talk about?
Just for the token for liquid pledging, I guess we just use like the mini-me token and then set the controller as a single address, and we just have a script that watches the donation addresses on mainnet and then mints tokens as donations come in.
Or you can use mini-me, or you can use consensus. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we need a token controller because we need to be able to generate.
This is going to be deployed in the. This is going to be deployed in the mainnet and in the testnet.
Testnet. Yeah, we just use mini-me because gas doesn't matter. And then also, how do you think that you could whip out 777?
It's right there, but we are changing the IP system to we are simplifying. We just finishes the reference implementation in that. We are having comments, so it's subject to be changed. So I would not yet, but I hope that in less than 1 week it should be well finished.
How easy would it be to switch from one token to another on our for liquid pledging? Pretty impossible in a constructor.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, it would just be a really nice bonus if we got to test out our new token standards, while we're doing this.
Well, I mean, it's testnet, right? So, I mean, we can always just redeploy everything. Like, it's not going to cost us any.
Will we be able to maintain the UI?
Yeah. Okay. That's true. We do want that to stay. I have to figure out exactly how it'll implement. I'll keep that in mind of trying to just switch it out and make it easy to just change tokens.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll matter. It should be pretty easy to do. But
yeah.
We'll see. You never know until you do it.
Yeah, exactly. I for some reason I think that the base token would be set in the constructor, but I definitely love the idea of the controller being something that basically just listens to, like, how do we connect what happens in mainnet to generating tokens on testnet?
the same way we like populate the Feathers cache, right? We just listen for events. And so I guess I don't know how you can, we just basically find any donations to the addresses we're interested in. And then just have a script that constantly monitors that. And when it sees one, it just generates a token, it mints tokens for that address that donated.
Okay, let me see what our donation address is and see what that looks like on the Etherscan.
If there's events, it's really easy.
I'm pretty sure I would never do this without events. So if we don't have events, I really fucked up. Yeah, I'll paste this to you. I'm putting it in Riot. Okay. Transfer approval. Fund sent. Okay, so yeah, when someone donates, there's an event that has the amount and the sender.
Perfect.
Hopefully that's all we need. If there's anything else we need in this, like a second event or something along those lines, like we can add it and redeploy.
Because we don't care about tokens, right? Like only ETH.
Yep, only ETH.
Yeah, so fund sent, message.sender, and value. I mean, that's all we need to listen to, and then we just do mint on the token with that value and sender.
Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds good, man. Do you have anything else for Jordy?
No.
Well, perfect.
Right
now. Yeah, definitely. Try to ping him on Slack as much as you need when you have questions. Him and I, we're both hanging out. So.
All right, will do.
Okay. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. No.
Yeah. What's up, Sacha?
I thought I'd join, but you're done. Too bad.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's all easy then and solved. Cool.
Well, the temporary solution is solved.
Yeah. This is how we solve problems. Hey, RJ. Here you go. It solves.
Okay, man. See you later then.
Yeah, bye. I'm gonna get to it.